Joining us live right now is our good friend, Dr. Joe Congeni, Sports Medicine Center at Akron Children's Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Joe.
Hey, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's on your mind today?
Hey, could I just come down there and hang out and talk some football with you guys
I
right
would
now?
love that. Well, you're going to start doing a lot of that, my friend.
I'd love that, but I have the tale of two shoulders today that I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these there are a lot of question marks, and people just have a hard time understanding this injury, and I have a little bit of concern. I mean, in the same week, of course, we had to make the trade for Francisco Mejia, and, but he's one of the best position players, left in our system, and in the same week, we lose Bradley Zimmer for probably over a year.
Yeah, what is this injury that's going to have him shelved for 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, they're thinking he probably won't be ready for the beginning of next baseball season, and that's concerning. He's one of the real crown jewels in our system, and so we're going to go to battle without him for a long time. And it's so hard to understand this injury. We went through it last year with Michael Brantley, but I want to kind of compare and contrast it a little with Andrew Luck too. I mean, Andrew Luck's been out so long. The people in Indianapolis are at wit's end. I mean, when you think of your quarterback and you think you finally have the franchise and you think you're going to Super Bowls, and he's been out a year and a half with a very similar injury, apparently, from what I'm reading and comparing with Bradley Zimmer. This is really tough. So, Ray, we've talked about it, talking about it a little bit of a different way, this glenoid labrum, this labrum injury. This labrum is kind of a cartilage cup that surrounds the upper part of the shoulder, the ball and socket of the shoulder. And what happens in certain injuries, you tear that labrum, and then the ball won't stay in the socket anymore, and it's what we call unstable. And to play sports with a shoulder that's unstable, you cannot zip a football for Andrew Luck, and you cannot drive a baseball for Bradley Zimmer. But the fact is that, Ray, particularly with baseball and sometimes with quarterbacks, there's a lot of people running around with some tears of that cartilage, and they can rehabilitate it really well and get it tighter, get it stronger, and get back to play without surgery. So it really confuses a lot of people. So Luck's injury, for instance, goes back to 2015, and he injured the shoulder, rehabbed it, played in 2016, had the worst year of his career. Lots of interceptions. People who saw him said no zip on the ball. At the end of the year, rehab just hadn't worked. He decides to have surgery, and he's out all of 17 and heading into 18, the end of 16. So he's been out a long time. It's difficult when they tighten up this shoulder and try to fix the labrum to not tighten it up too much in a quarterback. So it is a tricky kind of surgery, this reconstructive surgery where they fix the labrum and tighten the shoulder back up. So it's by no means in sports a slam dunk, and it's why every day that I see Michael Brantley driving the ball still and hitting the ball pretty well, I'm thrilled that we got him back at that level. But remember, that took a long time too. And now Bradley Zimmer's going down that road. And unfortunately, this young center fielder, he's such a good athlete, but he's got to stop running over fences and diving every time for every ball or diving into every base, because along the way, he tore his labrum and stretched out his capsule, and his shoulder was unstable. And so we rehabbed him for a long time, and it just apparently was not getting to where he needed to be to play the sport of baseball. And now this reconstructive surgery, fixing the labrum, and out for a year, Ray. I'm concerned about this very talented kid.
Yeah, that's a shame. Now, let me ask you this, and I know you haven't seen x-rays or anything, but this type of injury, when you eventually come back, does it weaken the shoulder? Does it weaken the arm strength? Or can you come back from this and be pretty strong?
It's very variable. It's very variable, and in trying to gather information, and both Luck and Zimmer, they really protected the information pretty closely about exactly what they did, how loose it was, how much they had to fix the ligament as well as the cartilage known as the labrum. So we really don't know how extensive. But, the odd part is, Ray, there's no great predictor. So I face this every day in my office. I'll face it in a minute here when I go into my clinic. High school kids get these too, and they get them from tackling people or blocking people, or in in baseball from throwing over and over again. That's usually a different kind of tear when you get it from throwing, but they say as high as 25% of minor league players have some damage to the labrum, and most of them can rehabilitate it, tighten the shoulder up with PT, and do very well. But nobody really knows for sure the ones that won't do well with PT. And on top of it, that tough question you asked me, okay, if you have to go to surgery, we know it's a big deal. How many of them will come out and get back to the level where they were before? And it's why I'm just thrilled, because a lot don't, that Brantley is driving the ball again. That's the thing I told you to watch with Brantley, was could he drive the ball again? But as I search around, a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, with Bradley Zimmer, that we're looking at Grady Sizemore Part 2, and definitely don't want to go down that road. If he doesn't get that thing stronger and tighter and get the strength back in it, that it can be career threatening.
All right, Joe, great information. Maybe not the information we want, but very good look at it. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Ray. Have a great week.
You too. There you go. Dr. Joe Congeni, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital, very concerned